Okay, so we're back out here at Bradford Creek again. We're talking about chipping. Chipping as part of the chipping and putting equation. This is the second lesson in the series because chipping is very important. Chipping and putting are where you're going to reduce the number of strokes the quickest. So it's I always point to Luke Donald on the PGA Tour, who back in 2012, 2011, 2012 was the #1 player in the world. Luke only hits the ball 265, 270 yards, but Luke was #1 because he was also #1 on the tour that year of getting up and down and his short game. So that shows you just how important the short game can be as far as chipping and putting. Now, for the chipping part of it, we're talking about basically the same setup. It's the same grip as you would use for your full shot, but with the chipping, it's a little bit of the same GPS setup. You're going to get your grip, you're going to get your posture, you're going to get your stance, but you're going to move your front foot back a little bit to open up your stance. And I'll turn around to do this. I'm doing my grip, my posture, and my stance, and then as you see, I'm moving my front foot back to open up the club, or open up my stance just a tad bit. That will give me more room to rotate through and execute the chip shot. Because with the chip shot, once you get your grip, posture, stance, and you open up, you're going to press your hands forward to where the butt end of the club is at your left pocket if you're right-handed, or your right pocket if you're left-handed. And then you're going to grip the club lightly. You're not going to choke the club to death, because this is a touch shot, so you need kind of a supple feel. So when you press your hands forward, get the butt end of the club up here to your front pocket, and then all you're going to do is execute a putting stroke. And we will cover a putting stroke a little bit later, but the putting stroke what we're talking about here is the hands and arms moving together. So the chip is nothing more, the chip up next to the green is nothing more than the putting stroke with a lofted club, which is kind of like that. It's a little bit back and a little bit through, and I'll demonstrate this. So my target is a yellow alignment stick that I put in the hole out there. So I'm going to do my grip, my posture, and in my stance, I'm going to open up my stance a little bit, press my hands forward, look at the target, make sure I'm gripping the club lightly, and then I will just execute a putting stroke. Like that. And I'll execute it again. That's one way to execute it, where you just want to get the ball on the ground. Another way to execute it, you want a little bit loft on it. But it's still the same. It's still the same stroke. It's just a difference in the hand position. So I got my grip, my posture, and my stance. I've opened up my stance. I've got my hands pressed forward. Now all I'm going to do with my wedge is execute a putting stroke like that, and that's a different sort of chipping stroke to execute.